Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Today, Transperth will carry 150,000 customers, a total distance of 135,000 kilometres. Stretched out, that's nearly 3.5 times around the world. And that's over a network, if stretched out, that would reach from Perth to Alice Springs. And we've been doing it day in and day out, year in and year out, since we started back in 1958. Of course, it was all so different then.
The 1950s brought financial problems to many of the privately owned companies when patronage diminished due to the rapid increase in car ownership. And in 1957, the government decided to form the Metropolitan Perth Passenger Transport Trust to acquire all existing bus, tram and ferry services in the metropolitan area.
Throughout our 32-year history, Transperth has existed for one reason: to give the best possible service we can to our customers.
I've just come across from Sydney, actually, so the Transperth service is pretty good. The bus service is better than Sydney, but the trains are nowhere near as good.
Well, I find it very satisfactory. The trains are pretty good.
I just can't fault it. I really am very, very happy.
Drivers and so on, they're all fairly friendly and they'll tend to smile and greet you when you walk on the bus. So, the service in general is fine.
You put the tram on the back of the bus.
Today in 1990, Transperth has reached a crossroads. We can do one of two things. We can sit still and stagnate, or go forward and turn the things that threaten our future into new opportunities. As we stand poised at this crossroad, let's take the opportunity to look at where we are and where we are going, what our mission is.
The customers come first. We need to take more pride in the customers and give them a much better service than we have.
It's pretty good at the moment. The only thing that I think mucks it around a bit is the vandals and everything. I don't think there's much Transperth can do themselves. They seem to be doing things fairly well at the moment.
I think that the train services are very good. They're pretty frequent, and of course with the new electric trains they will be faster. I do feel that a lot of the bus services, connecting bus services, are not as good.
I do get annoyed with it when the bus in the morning comes early, well before its proper time, and left out in the cold.
They should be listening to the public and responding to their needs where possible, and that way we could build a much better system in WA, perhaps the best in Australia.
Bill Clement's comments summarise what Transperth's mission is and always has been. So why do we now need a mission statement?
Transperth has realised that this is a period of change that we're going through, and they've formulated the mission that we have always been striving to achieve in black and white on print, so that we can make sure that any changes that we do make are relevant to our mission. So our mission's always been there. Our mission statement has not perhaps been put in print, and that's what we've always been trying to achieve.
It seems only a handful of years ago since those of us who worked in the public transport system needed to carry with us a little book of rules. In fact, there were the days when if you weren't carrying your book of rules, then you were penalised. These days, we've got a better way. As long as we're clear, very clear, about the broad direction our organisation is going, as long as we're committed and agree what that broad direction is, then we can dispense with so many of the rules and regulations that public transport organisations used to rely on. That makes it better to work for our organisation and more productive too.
At a time when the economic climate is changing, society is changing, and the needs of our customers are changing, Transperth's future viability is threatened in a number of areas. How best can we fulfil our mission in such a climate.
Well, I think we have to be very enthusiastic and take up this opportunity now that we've got it. Not often an opportunity like this comes to change things for the better, and I think this is a very good opportunity. I'm very pleased the way things seem to be developing, and I think we really must go now flat out to make sure we make a success of it.
So what are the things that threaten Transperth, and how can they best be turned into opportunities?
Perth has 558 cars per 1,000 people. That's the highest per capita of any city in the world, and that's what the biggest threat is at the moment.
Well, I think we need to be looking at gaining more passengers, which is the obvious goal that we're looking for. And to do this, we need to get the person from out of their car that travelled from an outlying area to the city each day. We need to get even 10% of those, and I think we would be well on the track then to, which would then lower the traffic rate of the city.
Transperth does have a lot going for it. As the volume of traffic grows, so will congestion. Transperth's new generation of hardware will give comfort, silence, speed, and a reduction of congestion in designated bus lanes, to say nothing of the rail system.
Electrification of the rail system will make a big difference to Perth's transport system. It'll enable us to integrate the flexibility of the bus with the ability of the train to shift large numbers of people in one hit. So overall, the transport system will benefit.
Transperth's new generation of hardware will mean that the bus and train can compete with the car. It will reduce stress for the travelling public as well as for the operators. Another spin-off that affects us all will be a cleaner environment. But the newest technology and the best hardware will not function without its software, the people of Transperth. Transperth is first and foremost its people. Its people determine its future and its mission. We are the critical factor in achieving success.
The perception of the workforce is that management isn't responding to their needs.
You hit them with a problem or tell them your views, they seem to think we're putting it over them, you know, like we're trying to cut a run short or make it a lot easier for us. But we see the problem before they do, and you get 5 or 6 drivers with the same problem telling the bosses, and you know, it's weeks and weeks before anything's done about it, you know, with the red tape and all that sort of jazz, and it creates tension, I think.
They've got to get more into the aware of how the operation is operated, and the only people that can do that are the people that are running the service. You can't drive a boat from behind a desk.
We can be very polite, very nice to people, but we're never getting recognition for it. So I think it would be very nice if we could get some recognition in some way out there besides seeing the boss occasionally for something we've done wrong.
I've been here 10 years. I've had not one training day in that 10 years. That's a terrible indictment of any organisation, I think. That's the major problems, and of course communication between the worker and management.
You know, you can try as hard as you want, but it doesn't mean you're going to get the response you want. With all that, you know, all that's happening, all the programs they're trying to put you through, I think there might be a possibility of change, but
I think it's very usual in a public service type organisation for two major sorts of problems. One is to do with the perception that people have that their obligations are all in a vertical direction, reporting information, reporting tasks back up the organisation, and the people high in the organisation issuing instructions down through the organisation. At the same time as this goes on, the usual public service organisation has great problems with communications in this direction. I call this the arthritic organisation because the main problems tend to occur wherever the joints are. The organisation feels pain at its joints.
The arthritis in the organisation is one of the threats to Transperth's future. Its cure means change. And one of the major changes will be the decentralisation of power and decision-making from the White House to the depots and the grassroots level.
Well, the near future at Redcliffe Depot here, we've got a new management structure change, and we're going to put in a series of depot support officers.
Recognition that each and every person matters in Transperth is one of the key factors to achieving the corporate mission. Derek Baldry, who spent 3 years behind the wheel and another 6 as an inspector, is part of the team developing new procedures in depot organisation and award restructuring.
Well, we need to get out there and support the bus operator. Here's a person that's really doing the work, which is making Transperth do its job, providing a service to the public. In the past, we haven't supported our operators as much as we should have, and now we have an opportunity with the new depot structure to put in place specialist officers specifically there to support our bus operators to do the job properly and to get as much as they can out of their job. The support officer will be there in the field, listening and advising the bus operator, particularly listening to what his problems are and how he sees they should be resolved, and assisting him in resolving those problems, if possible on the spot, but if not possible, to resolve the problem and come back to him later and say, the problem that you had, this is the way that we've resolved it. Rather than what was previously the case, where if he had a problem, it went through a long chain of command, finally back to the head office, the White House, where somebody there, possibly some faceless person that he only knew by name, took that decision and it came back down the line to him.
The depot support officer will be there to assist the operator so that the information can be fed back and the action which is actually going to take place will happen within 48 hours, hopefully, and not as it is now, a matter of a week because of the paperwork. It'll be virtually immediate action which will be a great benefit to the operator and give him more job satisfaction knowing that, you know, his request is being attended to there and then.
As each depot becomes more responsible for its day-to-day operation, the role of the White House will be one of support rather than control. One area where decentralisation is already taking effect is at the Kensington Street workshops.
At the moment, the management have implemented the workshop change programme within the workshop, which will involve the staff more in the running of the workshop. And at the moment, they've done this by setting up teams within the workshop, which is improving the quality of the work, and the men are a lot happier within the workshop.
I think they've got the right idea, but unfortunately some of their lower management, their attitudes leave a lot to be desired.
The less doors we have to go through to get something done, the quicker things will get done.
I think it's a move in the right direction. It's helping us in the field to make our own decisions more than management telling us what to do.
An important part of the execution of Transperth's mission is to develop a highly motivated team of people with the necessary skills to give excellence in service. To achieve this means change, and change can create difficulties.
We all have trouble accepting change wherever we come from in a community. As far as our union's concerned, with the National Wage Case decision on award restructuring, we have agreed to go down the path of change. We are trying very hard to make the change as gentle as possible for our members, and that if that change causes a few of us a bit of trauma, it's better than staying the way we are and then ending up going down the gurgler.
One of the most important aspects of putting the mission into practice will be the training of staff to give them the necessary skills to deal with any situation that arises. The new Transperth Quality Service Programme is equipping people throughout the organisation to work as team members to lift performance. And the world standard Transit Ambassador training program, developed by the Canadian Urban Transit Association, is being introduced to help bus operators develop their human relations skills.
I think the key is to improve the operator's image. Our operators are very good, but I think they're the frontline troops out there. They're the ones that sell Transperth. When the customer gets on the bus, the first thing he sees is the operator, and he is the one which sells everything for us. And I think once his image is at a high level, that's it for us. I think that's our image is right there in the operator's hands.
If you do know a passenger's name, it is very nice to say, "Good morning, Mary," for example. It does help out, and through word of mouth, Mary might tell her friends, well, it's quite enjoyable now catching a bus, and give it a go, and maybe we'll get more people out of the cars and in the buses.
We can achieve this by ensuring that our passengers and the general community receive maximum benefit for their tax dollar, and by recognising that our customers have the right to expect and receive quality service every time.
Transperth is undergoing enormous change as an organisation, and yet our mission is something that will remain constant. As circumstances change around us, we need to find better ways of fulfilling that mission. That is why Transperth is taking the initiative in reshaping itself to meet the challenge before the changes are imposed on us. In the long run, these changes will benefit each of us and secure our future.
When we were first alerted to what was proposed, the chairman, Stuart Hicks, came to our committee meeting and very eloquently described, and he used quite a graphic way of emphasising his words about the need to improve our track record so that we became a public transport utility better than any other. And what he used was a large booklet full of newspaper advertisements of what was happening to public transport across Australia. And it showed to us in our committee very clearly that we sit very special in the public transport system of Australia, but we have a lot of room for improvement. And that mission statement, we feel, is heading in that direction.
Our mission then, yours and mine, is to give our customers, the people of Perth, a service that is so well regarded that we will be recognised as one of the world's great public transport systems. Not the biggest, not the most extensive, and not the most expensive, but one of the best.